Hello, and we are live. Hi, welcome to the channel. Welcome to our YouTube live. This is a very special moment for me and Camilla. We're the co-founders of Swifty Scooters. Camilla is behind the camera. She's mic'd up. So as we do the presentation, please feel free to put your questions in the chat bar. Camilla's going to be monitoring those questions, and after I've done my little presentation, we can do our best to answer those questions. So, why are we here today? It's a very exciting day today because we're here to introduce this. This is the GT500, and this is the very first stand-on moped which is legal to ride on British roads. We have made British transportation history with the launch of this vehicle, and we're so happy that you're here to share this good news with us. So why have we done, what have we done, and what are the specs? That's what I'm going to be talking about in the next 5 or so minutes, and then we'll answer the questions afterwards. So as you may know, me and Camilla have been designing scooters and vehicles for the last, well, over a decade, and this vehicle was first launched over in America, and we picked up the Best Startup Award in 2023 for the G500, which has been on our website for some time. We've completely redesigned that vehicle from the ground up, and this version, the GT500, is the next iteration. So we have a vision and a mission to share with you today when it comes to riding vehicles of this type on the UK roads, in Europe and in the USA. So we believe that speed is one of the best factors to look into when it comes to classifying a vehicle type. So as you very well may be aware, electric scooters are generally restricted to 15.5 miles an hour. Unfortunately, still in the UK, we don't have electric scooters that are legal to ride, unlike over in Europe. I was in Paris in early January, and it was amazing to see how electric scooters in Paris are being embraced by the culture and the community there. People are whizzing around the center of Paris, and it's fully embraced and obviously having a big impact. There's still some way to go in the UK, and it is quite a complex scenario and situation as to why we're still not legal in the UK. I'm not here to delve into that today. I'm here to share the good news and that there is a vehicle that's available, and that's the GT500. So we have been working with a company called Volts Mobility. They have been our specialist advisors that have helped us to turn the G500 into the GT500. And today I'm going to explain a little bit why there's a difference between the two, and go through some of the top specifications. So our ambition with this vehicle is to try and set a new standard for the industry when it comes to battery safety, rider safety, the right to service, maintain and repair, and then also a big one for me, that's utility. How do you carry stuff on this vehicle so that we can try and convince people to swap car journeys for scoot journeys? So let's start with battery safety. The G500, which won the award, as I said before, one of the main factors why it won the award was because of the battery technology that we have inside this vehicle. You've all heard the stories of batteries catching fire in e-bikes, in e-scooters, and one of the reasons is because lots of those batteries use NMC cells, nickel, manganese, cobalt, and they are quite a volatile chemistry. If you abuse those batteries, if you overcharge them, if you use the wrong charger, they can become a volatile state, which can lead to a situation called thermal runaway. That's where the electrolyte inside the cell starts to catch fire, and it can spread to the other cells. When it starts to catch fire, it produces oxygen, and so it's a raging inferno that fuels itself. And that's why you have some very dangerous, catastrophic examples of those batteries and those vehicles catching fire. Our battery technology, our chemistry that we're using, is called lithium ferrophosphate. Now, it's not new or revolutionary in terms of first to market. It has existed for some time. It's used in the medical industry. It's also used in the energy storage industry, but it's never been used in an electric scooter before. And we're the first company that we're aware of to use LFP cells inside a vehicle like this. Now, the big trade-off with LFP is that it's not as dense as NMC batteries. And what I mean by that is that you need a bigger space to have more cells to have the same output of power compared to the NMC cells. So that's the only downfall. On the other side, it's got so many benefits. It's really, really safe. It's very hard to make that battery or abuse that battery to make it go into thermal runaway. So it's a very safe battery to charge at home, on your business premises. And we think that the safety benefits far outweigh the energy density issue. It also has up to 3,000 charge cycles, which means that it's going to last a really, really long time. And it also outputs the same amount of current throughout the entire range of the battery. So you may be, if you're an e-bike or an e-scooter owner, you'll notice that after about 50% charge, it starts to trail off in performance. It doesn't do that with an LFP battery. It has continuous output throughout the range. So battery safety is really important to us. And we want to lead the industry by saying this is a safe chemistry that can be used in our vehicles. And we want other manufacturers to follow the same suit so that we can clean up the industry and stop these horrible fires and problems occurring. Let's talk about the next point, and that's rider safety. So our customers, our fans, and our followers will always know that we have always had a large wheel on the front and back. Those wheels are 16-inch in size. They're a 305 millimeter wheel, not a 349. We believe that that wheel size is really important for stability, comfort of ride, and also just navigating the terrain. This vehicle has front and back suspension. There's up to 30 millimeters of travel on the front and the back. The rear has an air shock, which has an air valve which you can pressurize. So you can tailor the suspension for you, your weight, and your riding style. The front fork is a traditional front suspension fork. It's a coil system, air coil system. It has a preload feature, so you can preload the suspension to activate a certain pressure. And it also has a suspension lock-off feature, which is really important for if you wanted to go really fast and you don't want the suspension to be activated. So you can adjust that and tweak it to your riding style. So dual suspension front and back, super important to iron out all the bumps and lumps in the road. We also have a super wide deck on this scooter. You probably can't quite see it on this camera angle, but you can literally put your feet side by side. And so for taller, larger riders who have always complained to our existing products, they'll be very happy because this is such a huge footplate compared to our normal products. The wide footplate is really cool because having a wider stance with your feet almost shoulder width apart means that you have a really strong center of gravity, and so you can almost steer with your feet. I can actually ride this vehicle. I don't recommend it, but I can ride it with no hands because you're so stable. So the geometry of the vehicle as well, I think this is probably the 5th or the 6th vehicle that I've designed, and we've got the geometry of this absolutely spot on. The sweep back handlebars, the comfort bars are such a nice cruising style that this just is a pleasure to ride. This vehicle is supposed to feel just dreamy and just suck up everything that the road has to offer, and you just float along. And we've nailed it with this one. The riding geometry is super nice. So we want you to get on this vehicle. We want you to feel comfortable that you can ride it straight away. And we want you to feel like it's just easy and intuitive. So rider safety, super important. The next point I wanted to talk about was utility. So you can see the pannier rack on the front and the pannier rack on the back. We have a bunch of different options. So this is a really nice laptop, like commuting style bag, which is designed specifically to match with the front carrier. So it has a bunch of pannier connections. You can quickly just clip it in at the front, and that's great for carrying like your laptop bag for work, etc., etc. This rucksack also has some straps that you can come out, so you can unstrap that and use it. The rear pannier also has up to 15 litres of storage on both sides. So a traditional pannier bag, you don't have to buy this one, you could buy any that will fit. It uses the normal rack system, so you can put one on both sides. So that's 30 kilos on the back, with a carrying capacity of 10 kilos on the back and 10 kilos on the front. And in the future, we'll do lots of different options, so these panniers can be completely customized for different solutions. If there are any B2B customers out there that are watching the channel, you might already know that we do fleets of vehicles for the likes of Meta, for example, over in the US. We can completely customize a fleet of GT500s for you. So get in touch. They're not listed on the website. Get in touch and we'll do a consultation for you. I'll take these back off. So I just want to cover one last thing, and that's the right to service, maintain and repair. All of the parts that you can see on our vehicle, we're responsible for manufacturing for. We use lots of different partners. I want to shout out to Chasted down in Hertfordshire, who make our frame for us. Those guys have done an absolute fantastic job. On that note, I wanted to also talk about the fact that this product is predominantly made in the UK. All the frames made here. We manufacture the footplate and the plywood, pannier racks here in our building, here at Swifty HQ. We do import some parts from our suppliers around the world, but we choose the best possible quality we can get. Shout out also to PMBL. They're our battery manufacturer, who are down in Chard near the south coast. So we're doing as much as we can in-house, and doing as much as we can locally. So yeah, all the parts are completely replaceable. We want you to fix, maintain this vehicle for the foreseeable future. With our kick scooter range of products, some of our customers have had vehicles in operation for over 10 years, which is absolutely amazing. And they're still going strong. And that's testament to what we put into manufacturing and building the product. So the last thing I just want to show you, I've actually got quite a nifty little platform here, which will spin around. And that's just some of the features of the GT500, which make this quite a remarkable piece of equipment. So to make this vehicle comply with the DVSA regulations, you need motor grade or motor spec componentry. So we've got indicators, we've got the lights, which you can see here. It's important that you have a horizontal flat beam like so. You can see the reflection here. We have a tail light as well. Whoops, I need to turn it on. Actually, that's one feature of the moped, is that the lights need to work independently of having the controller switched on, which they do. And I'll show you the tail light here. I like spinning this round, it's fun. And then we have the indicators at the front, so left and right. See here, right. The throttle is a half twist throttle on the right hand side, and then we have the option of having one, or you can have two mirrors. The reason why we've got one mirror is because the regulations for a stand-on moped stipulate that you only need the right hand side mirror. We have lots of reflectors which are E-marked, which it means it's meets the regulations on the front, the back, and then the indicators. So yeah, this vehicle is legal to ride in the UK. We're really proud to announce it. We're really happy that you're here to share the good news. And the product is live on the website now. There's the G500 e-scooter and the GT500 stand-on moped. We are limited to producing 100 vehicles in the first production run. There is already a waiting list. The first waiting list sold out, so this is now the second waiting list. So please jump on there and order. You can place a deposit, which is refundable, and our shipping date is the summertime. So we're thinking June or July. we'll be able to ship out product. We're going to be coming in lots of different colors. If you do want to have a customized scooter or stand-on moped, please just email us. There's lots of different options you can have. There's 5 colors listed on the website at the moment, but our powder coating company that does all the painting for us is literally around the corner, so it's easy to pop over and do a custom color. So yeah, that's all the specifications, unless I've missed anything, Camilla. Oh yeah, the equipment, sorry. So one of the important things I should have mentioned. So a stand-on moped requires you to have insurance. It requires you to have a MOT, which you'll need after 3 years. Technically, it's a vehicle, so you need road tax, but this is an electric vehicle, so you're exempt from tax, which is great. And then you need a CBT license or a full motorbike license. And then to ride this vehicle, you need a helmet. This is my helmet here. So I use this open face helmet, which is the one in all the photographs. And then it's advisable, but not a requirement, to have a protective jacket with armor. So that's my leather jacket there. So they're the things that you need to ride legally. The fact that it's got a number plate is so cool, isn't it? You can actually type in this number plate if you like, just to prove the point that this is a legal vehicle here in the UK, into the Gov website to check for yourself. I've been riding it around today. I went to the bakery and a really cute little old lady stopped me and was questioning what this was. So I was saying, join our YouTube channel tonight. I wonder if you're watching. If you are, hello, it's Jason we met today. So yeah, really exciting to share this. Have I missed anything, Camilla?
Hi, I haven't said anything yet, but hi, I am here. I've got a couple of questions already,
okay,
which we could start answering.
Yeah.
One question regarding the vehicle approval.
Okay.
So can you just summarise how we have managed to get this vehicle approved?
Yeah, sure.
And, sorry, one more thing.
Yeah.
There have been some new people watching, so just a summary from the beginning, just for those guys. That would be great.
Okay, if you've just joined the YouTube live, thank you for coming, and you maybe missed the intro. This is the GT500. This is the first road legal stand-on moped ever produced in the UK, which is legal to ride. I've been riding this in the UK today. It's insured with EV Insurance, who is our insurance partner. They are a specialist micromobility insurance partner. The link is on our website. We'll put it below. They are in the midst of finalising the insurance policy, so it's not available just yet, but it's coming very soon. Is that highlight enough for you? And then the question. The question was, how have we produced this vehicle?
Just explain the approval system, like how have we managed to get this vehicle approved?
Yeah, okay, so an electric scooter that you're probably all aware of, if it comes into your mind, like a Xiaomi or something, that's technically called a powered transporter. And a powered transporter is governed by the same rules as every motor vehicle in the UK. So that means that that powered transporter needs to comply with the safety regulations set out in the Road Traffic Act of 1988. It has to have insurance, has to have an MOT, be taxed, and the driver obviously needs a suitable license. So obviously e-scooters in general don't or can't comply to those regulations. And so we asked ourselves, could a scooter comply to those regulations? So in partnership with Volts Mobility, shout out to Fred Apara, he's been an amazing technical help. He's the real wizardry behind how to look at the regulations and then make modifications and changes so that we can go and have the test conducted by the DVSA, and as long as we meet all of the technical criteria, then you can pass. And basically, we've done that with 2 vehicles. Yeah, does that answer your question? Yeah, so this is classified in the L1E category, and we go through a single approval process. So we will be building these to order. and then we will be taking them to be tested. They get certified. We basically get a bunch of paperwork. You get a V5C in the post, and you can then have a number plate on the vehicle because it's approved. So that's the kind of short answer of the approval process.
Yeah. So the single vehicle approval, technically you have to register them one by one. However, we are in talks with the DVSA and they will be able to do them in batches.
Yeah, we're doing batches, yeah.
So it's not a problem.
Yeah, and
Right.
I just want to make a point. This, it's really important to understand, this is not some kind of like workaround or like cheating the system in some way. This vehicle has been approved by the governing body. They don't make exceptions. It's very difficult to do. We've passed with flying colours. They're a huge supporter of what we're trying to do. So shout out to those guys. Thanks for the help. Also the guys at the Department for Transport as well. I think they believe in the fact that we have a very safe vehicle, and they, I think they appreciate what we're trying to do. So yeah, there's absolutely no question about it. It's difficult to pass. You have to have certain things in measure. And hi Maggie, this is our dog Maggie. She wants to go home. It's quite late in the UK. Hi, come round here then. Come on, you're on camera. So yeah, next question. Any more questions?
Yes, so just to finish off that point, we have a question about whether you can ride this one in Europe.
So at the moment, the GT500 is only approved for the use in the UK. We would love to try and make this happen in other territories, but we're not sure yet whether that can actually happen. But watch this space, sign up to the newsletter, and we'll see if we can make it happen. The G500, however, is something that you can ride as an e-scooter in Europe. So yeah, we're in the process of applying for the correct certification for that vehicle to then be registered. So for example, in Germany, you can register an e-scooter and it will have a number plate which is similar to this. It's a smaller size and be insured, etc. But you need a certain safety standard which we are in the midst of going through. So yes, the G500, which is very similar to this in terms of spec, will be available in Europe.
Okay, great, thank you. One more question along those lines is about speed and also where you're allowed to ride it.
Yep.
So just compare the two models that we're offering with speed and where to ride.
Okay, so the G500 is an e-scooter or a powered transporter. The GT500 is a stand-on moped. The stand-on moped will need to be taxed, insured, and ridden on the road as per other motor vehicles. So where the car can go, where the motorbike can go, this can go. It's important to note that it's very similar, the category, as like a 49cc. So you can't go on like a dual carriageway. Anywhere where the sign says that you can't ride that power vehicle, you can't go. But generally around the city, you know, A roads, B roads, no problem, you can ride there. It's limited to 28 miles an hour. So this vehicle will do 24, but our ambition is to have a version which will eventually get up to 28. I actually think 28 is a sensible speed to ride a vehicle of this weight and size anyway. And then to answer your question about the G500 and the e-scooter version, whatever the regulations come out with in terms of saying where they're permitted to ride, whether it's in the cycle lane, the road only, you know, that's where they'll be permitted. So it's different in each territory, isn't it?
Yes, so in summary, the G500's for road, cycle lanes and cycle tracks.
Yep.
Usually is fine, depending on where you are. And the GT500 is roads only, so it's a
Road only.
It is a shame if you have some decent cycle lanes, but many people like us, we just have no cycle lanes on our route at all. So,
Yeah.
you know, for us, it's really important to have this more roadworthy vehicle like the GT500.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any more questions?
We have a question about the price.
Okay, good question. Yep. So the G500 e-scooter powered transporter, that starts at £2,499 sterling, and then the GT500, which is registered as a real proper authorized vehicle, starts at 3,499. So the GT500 comes almost fully loaded. You get the pannier racks, you get everything, and the G500 doesn't have the pannier racks, but you can upgrade if you want and add those on and choose. So yeah.
Someone is asking whether 25-mile range might not be great value for an expensive scooter. So could you just talk about the energy efficiency and the running costs as well, please?
Yeah, so the other great advantage of an LFP battery chemistry is that you can actually fast charge them quite quickly. So the phrase that they use is it's like a tank system. So a little bit like a fuel tank of your car. You can basically top up. So in 20 to 30 minutes, you can charge the battery back up to 40, 50%, no problem, using our 5 amp hour charger. So that will give you an extra amount of range. I also think, you know, the trade-off of safety, you would need such a larger pack and carry such a much heavier amount of weight around to give yourself, you know, a bigger range. But you know, most journeys are not more than 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers, 10 kilometers, and you know, a range of 40 kilometers we think is more than enough. So it's a balance really of, you know, what are your requirements, what are your needs, and safety. Coming back to safety, safety is so important to us that we believe that range was adequate.
Yeah, and also the bigger the battery, the bigger the range, the bigger the battery, the heavier everything is.
Yeah.
So, and that does really affect the efficiency and how much it's going to cost you per mile. This is so cheap, it's next to nothing to run, and it's just remarkably efficient.
Yeah,
0.006
p a mile.
It's not even a penny per mile.
Yeah, it's
maybe £1 a week.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the whole point of this project is to try and inspire people to swap their other larger vehicle journeys for lighter weight journeys. And I think that's the way we really should be looking at the whole idea of sustainability and net zero. Not necessarily just what type of energy we're using. So let's change a internal combustion engine to an electric car. We should look at the overall weight that we're carrying around. So for example, you know, if you take an average Tesla vehicle, which, don't get me wrong, we're not anti-Teslas or anti-electric vehicles at all, electric cars, we think choice is really important. But if you take the battery pack of a Tesla, that battery pack could be divvied up and you could make 100 of these vehicles for one electric car. So this gives you a bit of scale in terms of, you know, the amount of cells that are in an electric vehicle, which mostly are driven, you know, single occupancy. If you could just swap, I don't know, 20% of those car journeys for a lightweight vehicle journey, well then you're going quite a long way to helping.
Just one question I've missed about the type of license you need. Can you just explain that?
Yeah, so you need to have a CBT, which is your compulsory basic training. There's lots of schools around the country. It's roughly about £100 to £150. That CBT training can be done in a day, and you could do that on a manual motorbike or an automatic motorbike. I recommend an automatic because it's very similar to what this is. This is automatic, there's no gears. And that CBT license will last you for 2 years. And after that, you'll have to retake it again, or you can continue and do a full motorbike license, which is my plan. That's what I'm going to be doing. So you need a CBT.
And last question, one of our customers really loves the panniers. Can they order those for their kick scooters?
I knew that would be a question. The answer is technically yes. I just haven't got around to doing it yet. But we have plans for the panniers to be available for the current range. Yes, there is plans for that.
Basically, when Jason's got a couple of assistants, you can have them.
Yeah.
Oh, one last question.
Yeah.
Any idea of insurance costs?
Oh yeah, good question, great question. So the insurance company who we're working with, called EVE, they have suggested that the premium will be very similar to a standard moped premium. So we think that'll be around £300, something like that. It very much depends on you, your record, if you've got any convictions, that kind of thing. But if it'll work out something like £30 a month, something like that. If you were to buy this on like a finance package, which we haven't got in place yet, but we're working, it could be around £100, £120 for the product and the insurance.
Okay, I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much, everyone, for commenting. We've had 47 watches, which
Great.
is amazing.
Ace. Yeah, thanks for joining, everybody. This will be recorded and then posted afterwards. So please feel free to share, like with your friends and family. Thanks for supporting as ever, and get on and check out the pre-orders. Thanks very much. Take care, everyone. Bye.